I'm Carey Stinson, and my journey through life has been quite an adventure. For over 20 years, I played Barney the Dinosaur on tour and 7 seasons of the hugely popular TV show Barney and Friends. Now my journey is to bring together friends and guests from all over the entertainment world for inspiring and at times amusing behind-the-scenes conversation. I'm Carey Stinson, and this is Purple Roads. Welcome to Purple Roads. My name is Carey Stinson, and as always, so good to see you. It's been a moment, but so excited to have this episode. I got a little message from Twinkle, who I have not talked to in a while, and I thought, oh my God, this is the perfect reason to have a show. She's got a new album out. We're going to talk about it. She's got some performances and all kinds of exciting things going on. So here we go. Twinkle, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing really good. And it has been a long minute.
But I love it. I love it. I'm so excited because I keep up with things in this industry and
Aw.
I've seen everything kind of going on. I see you on Instagram and I see you on social. And I saw this album and this big push. And I was so glad you reached out because I was probably not far from reaching out to you. So this worked out perfect.
That's awesome. No, like so much has happened since we last talked because the last time I was here, I was still live streaming. And actually some of my, which I endear like with my all the love in my heart, we all call them the twinkle lights. They were the ones that kind of made this introduction happen because they're a huge fan of you and of your podcast. And so they're like, you've got to be on his show. And so that's kind of how we met. And I was pushing at that time my fourth album, which is the It's Okay to Be Me. I mean, Me Gusta Serio, which it was like a bilingual, across the board album. And that was in 21. Can you believe like how time flies? Like it's crazy. Like absolutely crazy.
No, you know what I love when I first introduced you and I saw I love your energy. And then we get on this morning. I'm like, well, there it still is. It hasn't stopped. You just keep going. You've got so much energy.
You know what? I take after my mom. And my mom is known in our family as like the Energizer bunny, and that's just like I guess I'm her mini me. But yeah, no, a lot has happened. Obviously when we were on together last, we were kind of like towards the middle to the end of, you know, the Pandy era. And then in 22, wow, a lot actually has happened in 22 because of doing live streams every day. A production company reached out to me. They were like an educational component that had some sort of like ongoing thing with PBS Kids and PBS.org. And they had seen the live streams. I was like, wow, that's like so bizarre, so crazy. You know, like a lot of actors audition for roles and whatnot. And this is one of those random instances where people come knocking on your door. And I was like, whoa. And so they originally wanted me to like possibly host this kind of like series of shorts that they were doing. But then when they found out that I write, you know, like the music with my husband and that we produce everything in house. They're like, well, maybe we can bring you on for like a production company for the live action part. And you can write like these series of shorts that are bridged with like this animated component that is educational. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. So that took a good chunk of my 22, and those started airing in the summer of 22. So then by the end of 22, like kind of just everywhere, everything started kind of officially opening up, especially for anything to do with kids and families. I feel we're like the last thing to fully open up in different locations. So 23 and 24, as much as I wanted to do a new album, it was all about getting back on the road and touring because that's actually like my livelihood. And, you know, it was gone for 2.5 years.
Everyone was just so hungry for it to get out.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, and the very first show I'll never forget was actually in 22. It was like June 13th, and I know crazy that I remember these dates, but it was really impactful that during the performance, you could feel like this crazy energy in the audience. And even with my band members when we were performing, because we hadn't performed in over 2 years.
Wow.
And you saw parents crying because you're watching parents see their little kids react to in-person performances as opposed to just watching the screen. And so obviously there was also kids that had been following me prior to the Pandy era and watching the YouTube streams and whatnot, but like the new ones, like the babies and just like the ones that maybe were born in it, now like actually dancing and moving and like just getting the whole visual. Like it was really, really moving. And so we don't, as performers, I don't think we realize, sometimes like we write our music, we create our art, we create our craft, right? And like we're out there, but we don't realize the impact that our music does to kids and to families. And so it was a really impactful day. So yeah, people were definitely hungry, and I had the most insane 2 years of traveling like in 23, 24. So I definitely, I can say I was very grateful and super blessed because I was gone, like away from home for like 9 months, 10 months out of the year. So and so as much as I wanted to do music, I just couldn't split myself up to to
Hard.
it's hard. It really is, especially when it's me and my husband, which everybody knows is DJ Dallas, because he also comes on the road with me. So, he acts as tour manager and he runs our sound. And so he does like, he wears so many different hats, right? And so he does all the music production of the album. And so it's hard to just kind of be in that mind frame to make the album that you want to make, right?
Sure.
So, yeah. So, but now we're here, and this year has given me the opportunity to really kind of finish it because you start writing throughout, and you like kind of do some notes in your journal, and you have ideas, and you come up with concepts. You might lay some tracks down, but they're like unfinished, or maybe you're like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling it yet. It doesn't scream a banger to me yet." So
Right.
yeah.
Well, let's go back for 1 second because I really want to talk about a
Yeah.
little bit more about what you were saying. I had at the time two teenagers in the house during COVID, and the social aspects, you could see what happened. I mean, to them and to the kids, and obviously the kids that saw you, they were just living off of screens, and socially I
Yeah.
think it hurt them a lot. And so I can understand exactly what you're saying with the parents getting emotional because those kids needed that interaction. They needed to
They
be out.
really did.
I presume your show is very interactive with the kids.
Super interactive. Like that's being on stage is home. Like that's where I feel the most myself. Like it's hard to explain. And it's like every show, even though I might be singing like the same songs, like I don't always sing the same songs every set, but the thing is, it's like every audience is different. And sometimes it's a small audience, which is like intimate. And even though people are like, oh, it's a small audience, you actually have to work a lot harder when it's a smaller audience. But it's just a different, like sometimes those smaller audiences are just so intimate and beautiful. But then, you perform for massive, massive crowds, and you may have like the teenagers, you may have the babies. So you have to, it's like a very fine line of how to like approach. So it's like when you're on stage, I feel like I'm like like kind of
Right.
scanning the crowd,
Sure.
to see like what, because like I don't have a set list when I do my show. So unfair probably to my dancers and my musicians, but they know all the music, right? They know all the numbers,
So
and they don't even,
you're just calling out numbers?
I just call it out on stage. So
What you're
they have to be
feeling?
so on it.
Oh my
They
gosh.
really do because like let's say I have a song that I haven't actually done in live shows for such a long time, but I have a song called Cleaning Machine, right? Obviously, cleaning machine, cleaning your room, that is going to be for toddlers up to maybe 4 year olds. I mean, like the track is really cool, and parents will be like, hey, yeah, you got my kid to clean. But if it's like a whole bunch of teenagers and tweens, it's not necessarily a song that I'm going to pull out and start singing.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's just like you have to like, you it's like doing improv. And so and then I do ask questions. I go out into the audience. So like it is super interactive, and you never know what the kids are going to say, and kids are so brutally honest,
Yeah.
and they ask some really great questions, or say like the most off the top like things that kind of throw you, and you have to be so quick and come back at them, so yeah, I love my on stage show.
So we get off the road and we decide we got to do an album. Did
Yeah.
did you have a theme? Did you have an idea? I know you mentioned, writing in your journal, writing ideas, but I guess I'll let you tell the name of this album, and then where did that
Okay.
you
It's
can
called
debut it here.
it's called Non Fiction Fairytale.
Okay.
So this album's actually pretty special to me because the whole concept obviously is just telling these wonderful messages and like life messages, but they're actual incidences that happened to me uh like within the last couple of years. And so how do you tell that story? And the perfect way to tell your story is through songs, right? And so I don't have a song on the album called A Nonfiction Fairy Tale. That's just the title of the album. I felt that it was very fitting for the album. It's a 9 song album that
Which
is
I
has a
love when
story.
I saw, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, but I saw 9 song bangers.
It's true. It's true. Every song is their own story, their own chapter. And I never maybe a lot of artists when they do albums, maybe they go into it like knowing exactly what it's going to be, or if it's maybe a theme, or like they're going to talk about, I don't know, the water and the forest and the rainforest, like who knows, right? Like how
Right.
people, but for me, it's just writing the actual songs itself. So to me, it's like opening up a fairy book tale, and there's a beginning and end and all the things that happen in between, and it's just like a little mini novel. And I am very influenced always by a lot of artists from the 80s or like the 70s, like that glam rock era. Like obviously, I never lived it, but like you see the visuals and you see like the artists and you hear the music, and that was stuff that I've always listened to as a kid, as a tween, and I'm very influenced by a lot of those artists that I wanted to bring just a different sound. And I think Dallas created like, because I was like, this is kind of what I'm envisioning, and I did want it to be glam rock. And so I think we executed it really well. Like I'm super proud of it, and I'm also kind of known for like the high energy like pop dance kind of stuff, which there are many of those tracks. Like don't get me wrong, I'll never not, because I'm a dancer, I'm a performer, so not only do I sing, I'm also doing choreo on stage. But this album, for many different reasons, like what I notice when I'm doing shows, my show is like straight high energy, that I'm like, oh, I think I also need to incorporate songs that kind of like have a groove, that are mid tempo, that also I can have a breather on
Right,
stage,
sure.
right? And
Sure.
so I think I think that that was accomplished. And I've also never done any kind of powerhouse ballads. And if you are a fan of like 80s rock, like everybody, not only were they like rocking on stage, but they did these amazing powerhouse ballads. And so it's kind of a little nervous for that because I was like, well, like I've never had that. And like I was like, no, I shouldn't be nervous for that because little kids watch Disney movies and there's always the powerhouse ballads like in Frozen, the Let It Go that is so famous, right? And all the others that have come before and after. So I'm also there is a beautiful powerhouse ballad on the album as well.
Now, when you're working with Dallas on the music, what are you giving him? What direction are you giving? I mean, you have obviously giving him more than glam rock. You're giving him more. What kind of direction are you giving him to help him
So
in working on the music?
it always starts off with a concept and some lyrics. Like I do a lot of stuff where it's like like kind of in poem form, and sometimes I'll be like, okay, I get where you're going with this, but now we have to like make it into a song. Like we have to because as you can see, I talk a lot, and so like I'm very, very lengthy, and he's like, we have to chop this up. So, and I'm like, when I see this song, I see it as XYZ. Like it's either, like this is going to be a dance track, or this I'm feeling more like, a mid tempo or something more like this. So sometimes we will start off in those ideas,
Hmm.
and then I'll like kind of leave the room for a little bit and let him like, be in the moment. When I come back, I was like, oh, this is not the direction that I thought we were going to go in, but I was like, ooh, I like this. Or sometimes like we think we're on it. We're like, oh yeah, this is so awesome. And then we we sit on it for a little bit and then we come back a week later, a days later, sometimes a month later, and we're like, oh, you know what? We're not feeling the song anymore. And so we'll have to like rechange it.
When that happens, right? That's all part of the creative process.
Yes.
Where it
Yeah. So
goes
for
and not always where it starts is where it's going to end.
exactly. So for example, we have a song on the album. It's called Wow You Into Wonder. And um I the thought for the song was, I always get judged from appearance first, not really as an artist. This has just been my personal experiences, being in the family genre space. So they see
Sure.
me walking in like larger than life with all these crazy things, and they, you see the people staring at you, judging you, and not sometimes not giving you the opportunity or to show your stuff. And inside, I'm thinking if they only gave me an opportunity to see what it is that I do, the looks and the this and the, because they're just judging from the outside. And so,
Sure.
and that has kind of been my life, like since I was little, that I was like, I have a friend. He's also in the family world, and they go by the microphone doctors, and he is fully sleeved and just looks kind of like the Blink 182 guys,
Sure.
and but he just like he has his own vibe and what he does in the family space. And I was like, it'd be really interesting because I'm sure when he walks into a room, people are kind of like, whoa, you do kids music, like,
Sure.
and so I literally was just like, I wonder what that type of collaboration would be. So I like, called him and I was like, hey, you want to like get down on a track together? And he was like, yeah, this could be very interesting. So this song specifically, we started working on it back in probably 23, like in between times that I was like on downtime. And
Uh-huh.
then it's one of those moments that we would sit on it and we're like, there. and then where we thought in the moment that it was like, oh, this is so good, but then we thought about it and we're like, there's something not hitting, something missing, right? So then we would retweak it and retool it, and then it was such a process. Like, so 2 years down the road, it was Dallas who actually said, you know what? He's like, we're going to move this part that would have been, let's say, the chorus, and we're going to move it into the verse. And so it's like it's almost like a puzzle, like the puzzle wasn't quite finished. And then he figured out how to make all the Lego moves, right?
Right.
Like, and to make this masterpiece. And then I'm like, now this makes sense. Now it is exactly what we want it to be. But again, it was like a 2 year process. Now, mind you, we were not working on it
Sure.
every day. So
Sure.
yeah,
But that's exactly how that happens, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Getting other perspectives, seeing what works, what doesn't. I went through that a lot, obviously, with the big purple dinosaur, and there's things that work and things that don't work, and things you're surprised that work that you didn't realize it work. So I totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so it's that's like the journey. Like, that's like the beautiful part of creating an album, which, it's like so crazy because, like, with AI and all this technology, people just like hit a button and they have like a song. But that's not like that's not true artistry, like, it's still like it has to come from the heart, like, like, not to be prompted like on Chat GPT
Right.
and AI, like, like, this is what we do for a living. We create. This is how we express ourselves, is through the arts, through and everything from your visual to what comes out of your mouth to what you see up on stage and the final product. Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was actually watching something about that recently, and I think it's really interesting. They had done a song and let an AI song, actually created an AI artist, and then they let some people listen to it to get their opinion on it. And everyone thought it was really cool and the song was cool and all that. When they explained that it was AI, they said, I'd still want to see the person. I'd want to see, I need the connection. Right.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that, but it will only go so far because we need the person that goes along with that. Right.
Correct.
You tell these
Yeah.
stories and how you did, and you worked over a couple of years, and then Dallas jumped in and all that makes me want to hear the song.
Oh,
That's,
yeah.
that's the appealing aspect of it. So obviously with new technology and things go, I understand the appeal, but I think ultimately exactly the artistry and the creativity and the connection is really what's going to win out.
For sure. And that live performance, like, because again, like, watching the screen, that's great. But when you see that person live and you see like their art come to life, yes, you have artists that are more singer-songwriters, right? But when there's an artist like I'm like, when I'm on stage, it's like the whole shebang, it's
Oh,
like you're getting the whole visual, the whole concept, everything. And I think that's needed, and especially for little kids, right? Like I think that they want to like hold their favorite teddy bear, right? Their favorite
sure.
blanket. They're very, like, very sensory, like, so I just think that, especially in the genre that we do, yeah, you could see cartoons, but when you see them come to life, like, and in person, I think that's where the magic happens.
Well, I was with Barney on the road for years and years and years, and there's just nothing like that. The actual
No,
connection that they had to that purple dinosaur and singing I Love You and all those songs was just absolutely incredible. The
yeah,
Obviously it changed me as a person, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
All
no,
right, I got to ask about the lead
yeah.
single, the superhero.
Oh, yes.
You've already
So
released
yeah,
it and we've got a video out too.
yes. that one to me is like that. The sound is super arena rock. Because, after so many years of touring, and when I'm fortunate enough to bring my full band, like having that band behind you, and being able to connect, like I noticed that it even changes the songs that are from old albums. Like we change it up and it's super rockin'. That you even, I love to see dads that probably are like, why are we watching this? Right. And then all of a sudden they start getting into it. And then they're like, oh my God, this song rocks. And so I was like, no, that's the whole thing. It's like I want that arena rock vibe. And so it's a larger than life track. The message, it's all about, what when things don't happen, like get up, pick yourself back up from your bootstraps and just keep going and believe in yourself, and you too can be a superhero. So the message is just, it's really powerful. So I thought that was such a great song to kind of like start the album and start teasing the album. So the video I absolutely love. It was filmed in Barstow, which is about a 2-hour drive from LA. But my friend, his family owns this amazing, it's like kind of like a landmark in Barstow for the locals. It's called Slash X Ranch, and it's like sits on acres of property in the desert. Their hamburgers, by the way, are delicious. And so if you're ever in Barstow, go. But it is hot. It's the desert. And sadly, I had to pick the hottest day in July. It was 106. There was crazy, like 30-mile-per-hour winds. So everything that I had envisioned that I wanted to do in the video, we had to quickly start going because we only had like, I would say from the time we set up to the time we tore down, like maybe 4 hours to like do the whole video.
That's
And
fun.
so and because also we were working with the sunset, because I had this vision. I'm like, oh my God, it's like this open nothingness in the desert. How awesome would it be to just stick the drum set there with the band with absolutely nothing, with the sunset happening? So it's like we were working very quickly with time, and time wasn't on our side and the wind wasn't on our side. So I had like capes originally because it's a superhero, and the capes were like wrapping around and flying up in our faces. It was comedy at its finest. But I was just like, you know what? We have to strike these capes because otherwise this is not going to be like a music video. This is going to be like an SNL skit. And we can, I mean, maybe we can have it, but I'm like, this wasn't what I was going for. So there's moments where I have the cape on, moments where I don't, and that's why. But I did have other ideas that I wanted to do if there wasn't 30-mile-per-hour winds. But we made it work. My poor camera guy, Eric, like he had to do some of the shots on stilts because him holding the camera with the wind, and then the camera was shaking. And I was like, don't worry about it. We're going to make it work. This song is so energy that even if the camera's moving, that's part of it. Let's just go with it. So yeah, it came out really good, and Dallas edited the video, and I just think it's just fun, and I absolutely love it.
And it sounds like the message of the song is what you had to deal with while you were shooting the video.
Exactly. I'm telling you, that's why it's a nonfiction fairy tale, because it's all the things that actually happened to me. And I'm putting it in song form.
So talk about the importance of that message because this album is really for tweens, right? 8 to
Yeah,
12. So
I would say 8 to 12. Yeah.
that message for them really important, right? As
Oh,
they're
for sure.
getting into the world and learning not everything always works out all the time and you have to pull
Yeah,
yourself.
like it's like, remember when you fall, you gotta stand all, you gotta dust your shoulders off, bounce back like a ball. So it's, you have to, and that's in life, and not just as a kid, as you become a big kid, right? So
Sure.
start now. And the most important thing is always believing in yourself no matter what. You have to Like if people tell you no, you can't do that. You can't accomplish that. That's crazy. Why do you want to do that? But if you in your heart know that this is your path and that's authentic to you, then nobody can stop you. You're the only one that can stop yourself, you know? So if you are stopping yourself out of fear of the unknown, you just got to dust it off and keep going and just kind of work through those challenges.
Now, we talked about this at this episode that we're having right now. The
Yeah.
day that we're airing this, you're also going to be releasing another song. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay, so the album, you know, a nonfiction fairy tale with the 9 tracks,
Yeah.
all very different
Nine
styles.
bangers. Nine bangers.
9 bangers. um, we are going to be releasing, and now this is like big time. You're like the first, Faith, and the music video. So that's my mid-tempo song, and it is beautiful. And it was actually the first music video that we shot. Because I was like, do I want to come out with Faith first, or do I want to come up with Superhero first? I couldn't decide, but I made the executive decision to do a superhero first. But Faith is, to me, it was because of everything that we had been going through since, you know, the Pandy era till now, especially being an artist or just anybody that's an entrepreneur that was deeply affected by everything, the closures of everything, and the fear of the unknown. Like, where you're like, when is the expiration date? When is this going to end? Then what is going to happen after? Is it going to be back like pre-pandy, like 2019, or is it going to be new? Are people like it's just all the unknown. And the only thing that got me through probably the most challenging times of my life, because I've been in the industry my entire life. And yes, you have the ups and the downs, which is totally common in the industry. And
Right.
so you prepare for that. But to have a period unbeknownst to you, you have no control for 2.5 years where you cannot do anything because you just can't. That's kind of scary. And so the only thing that got me through was hope and faith. Like, you don't know, but you just have to believe that there's going to be the beautiful ending, hence a nonfiction fairy tale. At the end, or like, you know, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, like whatever that is to you, like you have to believe. Like, I mean, literally, it's just believing and hoping, and believing in the unknown, right? Like having faith in whatever that unknown is. So it's a song in the music video. It's just me, and it's very personal. It's beautiful. You just have to watch it. I'm so proud of it. My friend Josh was the cinematographer, and Dallas edited it. And it was this concept that I had where it's just me, like even talking to myself in the mirror, like, you're going to be okay. You just have to have faith. And just kind of reminding myself that your dreams will still happen. You just got to keep going.
Well, it's interesting what you just said that as artists, we've grown up this way, right? We've been told no a lot. This industry is just ups and ups and downs and downs and downs.
Uh,
But not everyone in life is that way, right? There's a lot of people that had 9 to 5 jobs and their life was pretty steady. And then
yeah.
all of a sudden we're shut down for 2 years.
Yep.
Artists are used to crazy stuff like that. 9 to 5 people are not used to stuff like that. I mean,
No, they're
for my wife and kids, they've never seen anything like this. Not that I'd seen anything like it, but I've dealt with crazy times before being an artist.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've worked and not worked and did all these things. So, and it was easier to adjust for me. Oh, we're doing it on the computer now. Okay, let's do that. So I
Yeah.
think that's really interesting, and what a great idea for a song and a great way for people, especially coming out of that situation of the
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think those people that have the 9 to 5 jobs I'm like, you guys are the lucky ones because, it's almost like they were working, they don't realize what other people went through. Maybe they had to like work from home, and maybe their whole family was now at home, and so it's like the chaos of like the kids over here and they're trying to work. So that was different in that regard. But when you're an artist, or I wouldn't even say an artist, just in the entertainment industry, like being a stage manager or being a lighting tech or a grip or just whatever, and you don't have income coming, that's ridiculously scary. And so, but you know what? Like you said, artists, entrepreneurs, we're quick on our feet. We reinvent, we go with the flow because you have to. And that's kind of, I kept myself so busy doing everything
Right.
because like I literally was streaming every day. I created a radio show for kids, like
Sure.
anything I could think of just to still engage and keep my mind busy. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened, but yeah. So,
Yeah. I mean, this podcast started in a studio and then like 5 episodes when COVID hit, and then I was all of a sudden on Zoom doing
yeah,
doing this. Yeah.
yeah.
And not knowing what I was doing and not, just figuring out as we go. Beforehand there was producers and a studio and editing and all that stuff. And now all of a sudden I'm doing it all. And actually, to be honest, I think it made it more intimate, and I'm really happy with all the way it all turned out.
Yeah, it's funny, like with the streaming, I'm not a tech. I'm not super tech savvy.
Right.
And so I did I don't know if you've ever used OBS.
Mhm.
Like that program OBS. Okay, so like when I was live streaming, somebody told me use OBS. You can like do cutaways. You can, because I was like doing live streaming and I would have like a video that I was going to show or this I was going to show, and like I would have like my intro, and then I would click to a different scene. So it was, once I got the hang of it, now I'm probably like, I don't even remember how I did that. But once I got the hang of it, I was like, oh, I got this. I got this. But that first week, my friend RJ actually was the one who told me, because he's a techie. He's like, this is what you should do. And I was like taking like total notes, and I was like, oh my God. And the best part was I was with my laptop trying to do this show and trying to be like super professional and like make it like super super pro in my mind, and all of a sudden everything was going wrong, and my face was like, oh my God. And like in my brain I was like, this is like the worst stream ever, nobody's ever going to tune back in. And then you see like the comments, like people laughing or people like, oh, it's okay, Twinkle, don't worry, keep going. And they were loving my nervous, like, oh my God, nothing is working. And at that moment, it was a good lesson for myself as an artist that people like that. They want to see those moments, that it doesn't always have to be perfect. It's how you handle the crazy, that it's nothing is going your way,
Right.
and how you resolve it. And that for me was a really good lesson, because I was like, oh, okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I can make mistakes. I can tell the audience I have no idea what's happening right now. Like, so it was a good lesson.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing that came out of it for obviously for podcasters in this aspect,
Yeah.
is that it doesn't, that mistakes can happen and it's live and we just go where it goes. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, since we're talking about all this new music, there's probably going to be some live shows coming.
Oh, for sure. So,
When is that going to happen?
ah, so we're gonna have some shows in September. So there's an organization of moms. I think it started with like just a mom, who just decided she was gonna have like a meetup, right, of moms, and it's been really fascinating to watch her. And she might have had this idea all along. I actually have to probably ask her, but she had like this little meetup, then it grew and it kept growing, and year after year now she does like like a Kids-a-Palooza, like a Coachella for babies. And it's like a big deal in Southern California. And she's expanded it to not just LA. Now she's like taking it to different parts of California.
Oh,
So she is now the one in LA is huge. It's like a 2-day event. I
that's,
just did it with Lori Berkner.
well, Lori's
Yeah,
been on the
like we
show.
yeah, so Lori Berkner and I like, perform like and that was like actually my first time meeting Lori Berkner because we knew each other online. We were very friendly on social media and I did a radio interview when I was doing my radio show. I did an interview with her and she was so kind, but we've never actually met in person. So when she saw me, it was like the most random thing ever. I was like, oh my God, that was so sweet of her. Like I was walking to the backstage area and she was walking to the backstage area and she goes, Twinkle! And she gave me like the biggest hug and I was like, oh my God, that was so sweet. So and we had a moment before her set to kind of like talk and bond and then she was whisked away after her show. So but she was very kind. But so yeah, so this it's called the Great Big Family Play but they're going to be doing it in NorCal, Northern California, and in Orange County. So I have those shows coming up. So definitely check my social media for those pages or for those information for the shows. And then I might be in Barstow again for the Halloween season. There's this amazing place called Calico Ghost Town, and I just got an email from them. So that's usually, obviously, during the Halloween season. So look out for that. And another thing that I love is I've partnered up with the First Five. I don't know if they have that. I think it's nationwide. First Five. It's a literacy program
Okay.
for kids where it's a nonprofit where they encourage and they believe that the first 5 years are the most critical for your little ones, to for reading because obviously it expands the knowledge, but also music because it changes and impacts, the kid's life. And it's, I guess, proven that, the kids excel better with the music introduced at a very early age. So I always do these shows for them every year when they have like their big events, and that looks like it's coming up in November. And on top of that, I produce a music series here in Southern California. It's called the Kids Edition at Santa Monica Place, which is this beautiful outdoor open property in Santa Monica, right next to the ocean, and where not only do I get to perform, but I also get to hire and bring on and amplify other artists that are in the same space and give them opportunities as well.
That's great. So
Yeah.
you really did have a lot going on since I've seen you last.
Well, it's so funny. Like this year, I haven't been traveling as much like I have because I was like literally from state to state. I didn't know where I was. Like I would wake up and like, where are we today? Like I never knew. But it was actually such a blessing because I was able to now work on my new album. And if otherwise, I don't know where, I'm not at the Taylor Swift status yet where I can, on my days off, fly to Switzerland and
Yeah,
work with Max Martin
right.
and then come back or, have a recording studio in our tour bus like that,
Okay.
we haven't gotten there yet, but
Right.
that's the goal.
I got you. I got you. What is it going to be like doing these new songs live? And you've got to be really
Ah,
excited about this to take this music live.
yeah, because what people don't see, like, but this is for an artist, especially if you come from a musical theater background. Like, I come from a musical theater background. You do the same show Tuesday through Sunday, two shows Saturday, two shows Sunday. So you do like what, 9 shows a week. Monday's your day off. And especially when you're touring, you have to remember if this is your job, because I've done a lot of Broadway shows, national tours, and it's like you can't just call it in, right?
Right.
Because the audience has never seen the show, or
Sure.
maybe they have and they're super fanatics and they come over and over. I was very blessed to be on tour with Ted Neely and Carl Anderson and do Jesus Christ Superstar with them, and to watch Ted Neely like do his like Jesus every single day and give it like his all, like he's never done it before, was so impressive. And so, and I always have remembered that. So it's like, as much as you do the same songs, and again, like I mentioned earlier, every audience is different. So even though you're singing the same song sometimes, it's always different. But as an artist, when you have new music that you can now incorporate, oh my God, it's just going to take it to another level. And because it's so hard, like it's like that concert rock sound that it's just, oh, I'm so excited. Like you have no idea. And like I mentioned, I think having that mid, like there's a couple mid tempos that I can now like, like do for like a breather. And I'm going to be really excited to try out doing a ballad, which is called Fly. Fly is, and it's very personal. It's, that one to me, it's a pretty amazing experience how the whole thing came together. I have Kit Wakely, who is a Grammy Award winner, but he's like from like the symphony and compose, like he does composiums and like all like huge like orchestral kind of things. That's his genre. And we became friends over the last probably 8 years. And I approached him because I wanted this ballad, but also to be big. Like everything I do's got to be larger than
Right.
life. And he heard it. He's like, I so want to be a part of this. And so he like was a co-producer on it, and he took it to the Czech symphony is on this track,
Wow.
and it is goosebumps. It's like I need to pitch it. It's got to be on some sort of next cartoon Disney. Like I have to figure out how to go that route, but it is beautiful. And so I think I'll have to find the right time and the right venue. Maybe when I do a lot of theater shows, maybe that'll be like where I debut that song. Because it's not like you can pull out a ballad, when you have like a
Sure.
20-minute set.
Right. Right.
So,
Especially
yes.
if yeah, it is difficult. It's funny you say that. When we did the first Barney tour, we had a song like that. It was beautiful. And it just took the whole audience like the first night that we did it because it was all upbeat, upbeat, upbeat. And that song came out and they had to pull it because it just, as beautiful a
See,
song as it was, it just doesn't work in a
it
show.
does.
It's high energy.
Exactly. And so it's like almost like if I were to do, because I do a lot of, I headline at a lot of theaters, for like when it's like during the summer when it's like the kid programming, right? Or sometimes even during spring. And that might be a good time for me, like, and make it more like a story. So my show is usually like a concert feel,
Yeah.
but maybe like if we incorporate it or maybe not do the full song because kids like after a while like it might be too long of a song, so if we like shortened it a little, maybe it could work. But I would love to be able to do that song live.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I have not heard that song yet, but I look forward to listening to it.
Oh, and just know that like the like actual symphony, and I have like I'll start airing like the little clips on social media because I'm like, can you film the whole thing, so I can like share. And so it's very magical. And again, there's a lot of great songs that are on the album. So I'm really, really, really proud.
So, where are you releasing the album? Where can we watch the videos?
Yeah. So anywhere where
Website?
you can. So, a nonfiction fairy tale, always look for orange hair, will be under Twinkle Time on Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify. And, definitely download it. Don't just stream it, but you got to, if you're going to stream, like I put like a funny thing and I can't remember the actual facts, but it's like so many streams quantify one sale of an album. So you have to, if you're going to stream it on Spotify, just know that this is our art, this is our craft, this is what we put our, blood, sweat, and tears into. So definitely like stream it a whole bunch, share, like, put it on playlists. But if you want to like download it, go to Apple Music, but leave a review because all of that helps like in the algorithms whatever the algorithm, I don't know what exactly the algorithm is, but
Sure,
whatever that is, it helps.
sure.
And then videos are everywhere. So YouTube, under Twinkle Time. Yeah. And so just, it'll be everywhere. It'll be on the website. My social media that I love the most. But I'm getting better at TikTok, but my Instagram, it's Twinkle Time and Friends. I post all the time there, and TikTok is it's Twinkle Time. And I promise I've made a mental like note to get better on TikTok. It's just a lot.
It
Like
is.
there's just so much social media. It's just a lot. That's
It
like a
is.
job in itself.
It absolutely is. And I feel like I should say, by the way, subscribe and like Purple Roads while you're watching this as
Yes.
well. I'm not doing my
Yes.
job if I don't jump on that too.
Yeah, you have to.
Twinkle, I can't tell you, it's just been a blast having you back.
Ah, thank you. I love that you're doing this, and my Twinkle Lights are gonna be so beyond thrilled because they're already fans of you. And it was because of them that I got to meet you. So I thank you for giving me the space and the platform to, announce all the things that have been happening in my life.
Well, you know how much this industry means to me. I spent a huge part of my life in the children's world, and we need more artists like you. And you obviously you're very passionate about this. You care about your audience, the songs that you're writing, the things that you're doing. It's so important. It's
Thank
so
you.
important. And sort of hear
Yeah.
that the excitement, how you keep going, because it is tough. It's really tough.
Oh,
And I've seen it, artist after artist after artist. It's tough. And the fact that you keep finding new ways and you keep making changes and adjusting, and it's just inspiring. And I love it. And
you
congratulations.
have to, it's to always to reinvent. This is going into my 15th year of being an independent artist for kids.
Wow.
And I could proudly say this is what I do, right? So like you said, I'm very passionate. I love what I do. I love working with kids of all ages, even big kids too. And I think it is important to be a great role model. And I take what I do very seriously. I'm there to inspire and to educate through music and the arts. That's just always been my thing, and to give parents and the big kids really cool beats, but with clean, positive lyrics. So, because there's a lot of great artists on mainstream, but sometimes their lyrics you're like, you're four, you should not be listening to that.
Right.
So I try to do what the little 5-year-olds listen to their older siblings in the sound, but give them the positive lyrical content.
Well, and it sounds like your audience inspires you as well.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Um, and I have to say I'm very, very fortunate for the Twinkle Lights, especially the OG Twinkle Lights that are now in high school. Um, which is so great. And they'll come to my shows and they'll be like, "Do you remember me?" I'm like, "Of course I remember you." Because they were like constant. Their parents would take them every, like if I was in one part of California and then I'd be, let's say, in Redlands, which is like a 2-hour drive, they would show up. And so it's them that keep me doing what it is that I do. It's the audience. And so I remember everybody that I meet, and I'm so fortunate for the OGs, the new Twinkle Lights, the parents, because obviously kids can't drive. So when the parents like put in the initiative and take them to all my shows, it's like you have to remember them. They're part of your they're part of your family. They're part of my life. So I've watched a lot of kids grow up, and they're like, I still know the song, I know the choreography, I know this. So it's like I said, you don't realize the impact until they come and they tell you, like now they're following in your footsteps, they're doing music, or they're inspired and now they're in band, or they're doing drama, and they were so shy, but I gave them that, confidence that they could do whatever they wanted to do. So it's really I can't, there's no words to express what that means. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show, and we'll have to have you on. It won't be that long. We won't have that big of a
No, no, it won't be, because I got other things in the works. So I'm determined to make that happen. So I'll be calling you again.
I love it. I love it. Well, good luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you for watching Purple Roads. Remember to keep your eyes, ears, and heart open, and you'll find your purple road. We'll see you real soon.